This is Deep Blue, where we get the true life stories of BYU athletes, coaches, and fans. Here's your host, Jarom Jordan.
On today's show, I talk with one of the best college and pro players in any sport the Cougars have produced, the first native Utahn to make it to the LPGA Tour after dominating the Mountain West golf scene. A legacy golfer in her family paved her own way, and now she leads a very successful women's golf team at BYU. She's a baller, the competitor, the Cougar Hall of Famer, Carrie Roberts. What's up, Carrie?
Ooh, what's up? How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
You're in the BYU Hall of Fame now. That's as of October 9th or something?
That's
October,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, whenever that
was.
was.
What an honor.
September, yeah. Super cool, honestly. Like, the whole experience was super cool, cooler than I thought it would be. At first, I was just like, when they called me, it was kind of like surprise, shock. Whoa, okay, cool. No big deal, And then as it got closer, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, a lot bigger than I thought it would be, I guess.
It was you and some other people. Jimmer Fredette was
I've
in there,
never
too.
heard of Jimmer, but maybe you have.
It was the James. He goes by James to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, that was really cool. What did that mean to you? Because you've had a lot of validating athletic moments in your life, but to be in that exclusive club is pretty special. Yeah,
and I guess it does validate the success that you've had. I knew I had some success and was really, had a good time here and played really well. And I don't know. I guess it just does confirm, I guess you were pretty good.
I guess you were pretty good, yeah.
I don't know,
In 2019, you gave a devotional at BYU.
Ugh.
Where did that rank on the I'm nervous moments in your life?
Top one. Maybe that and first time winning that conference in 2016 after not winning and we were supposed to win. And
as the coach of the women's golf team.
Yeah, coach of the women's golf team. Team hadn't won in 90, Pepperdine had won 14 in a row. They were ranked top 20. Those two moments. But that, I remember sitting down in my chair and leaning over to my husband and said, I don't think I can get up. I think I'm stuck in my chair. Oh my goodness, what is happening to me right now?
Would you rather putt for a title or give that talk?
Yeah, give me a putt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In that devotional, you said something that's just incredible. You talked about how when you were younger, and you can remind me what it was, your mom sort of changed your life when she said, listen, if you don't like it, then change it.
Yeah.
Will you retell that story?
Yeah, my brother was there. Bruce Jr. was there. And I honestly don't remember exactly what was going on, but I do remember being frustrated, complaining, making excuses.
How old were you?
I had to have been in elementary school,
okay.
And my mom was just like, well, Carrie, do something about it. If you don't like it, do something about it, change it. And I remember my brother, as if we were standing here, yeah. He called me Oog. Oog was I had an owl named Oogly. And he called me Oog. Yeah, Oog, change it. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? No, I've been wronged, get on my side.
We all feel that way.
Yeah, and she's just like, no, you can do something about this. She was super empowering, and she just knew the mental side, and I don't know how she knew it or where she learned it, and she had a very hard upbringing, but she was just like, you have to believe in yourself. You have to tell yourself you can do this. Don't give in to complaining, excuses. Do something about it. Go work. Every cliche thing you'd ever say, that really was my mother.
What was her upbringing like that was so difficult? Yeah,
so her mother had ovarian cancer when she was 8 years old and passed away. And they didn't tell the children. They sent them away. Can you believe this? There were 5 children, and they knew she was dying. And they sent the children away to live with family. So she and her sister went to live in Long Beach with her aunt and uncle. And during the process, and she remembers just being so excited. And she loved that time of her life. They said they took them everywhere, taught them how to surf. They took them to Disneyland all the time. She said it was the best 2 years of her life. She couldn't wait to come home and tell her mother. And lo and behold, her mother had passed away, and she didn't even know it. And 9 years old.
Know.
She did not know.
Was it months after, weeks?
Yeah, no, year and a half. She was there for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so her aunt and uncle grew so close to them, and called her dad and said, we're either going to adopt him or you need to come get him. We're just growing too attached. And so the dad came and got him, and he was just so distraught and whatever. And you just didn't talk about things, you know what I mean? Back then, you just didn't talk about it. And so she came back, and they had to tell her, hey, your mom
Oh, my goodness.
Your mom passed away. And so from 9 years, whatever. And then her older sister got ovarian cancer. And so the older sister was trying to help, had her own family and help raise the kids. And then she passed away several years later from ovarian cancer. And so that was obviously, you could imagine the heart. So my mom said, she goes, first time she shaved her armpits was with no water and just a razor. Like no one taught her how to shave. No one taught her, about growing up. She said she'd walk to school and grab a Snickers for breakfast. Like they just raised
Why wait?
Why wait? They just raised themselves. So she had this very difficult upbringing.
When she says, if you want it to be different, change it. That comes from a place of
That's why
hardship.
my mom is so strong, and you think about the strongest people in your life, they've gone through very hard things.
Yes.
Right? They're fighters.
Yes.
And that was what my mother was.
They know how to control the situation regardless of what's happening around.
They know how to get through it somehow.
Which is the hardest thing in life.
Yeah.
Because we all want to, like you said, as a kid, like, I've been wronged.
I've been wronged. Help me, be on my side.
Someone do something for me.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's really interesting as a parent seeing this through my children, because I can't tell you, my son plays basketball, and last year he's very talented. And so the coach is going to get on the most talented, right? Like they expect more. And my son came home, 9 years old crying, right? And we're like, okay, what's going on? And my coach, and he was mean to me. Well, what'd he say? And he was just pushing him. Totally normal coach thing to do. And so I just kind of like, but you know what I mean? You could have taken it as, why are they being so hard on my kid? And there's definitely been times that I've thought that as a parent and had to turn it around and say, this is the pivotal moment in my child's life where I could make them a victim or I can make them tough. And it is so hard to do as a parent. I will tell you that, because you hate it when someone gets, but then from my eyes, right, I as a coach, I see it very, very differently of thank you, right? Like I want to thank those coaches for getting on my kid and then teaching my kid, like, you got to deal with this. Wait till you're in college. Say you play college ball and you've got, some nasty fans yelling at you. You'll be prepared.
That's really interesting. And Mark and Leanne Pope were in here a couple weeks ago, and they talked about, because I said, I'm trying to teach my daughter how to lose.
Yeah.
If she doesn't win, she's just really, really mad, and then doesn't want to even try that sport again.
Interesting.
She doesn't like sports, I think, because of this. I hope I'm not overbearing in any way, shape, or form. It's like, just have fun and play soccer. But she wouldn't try hard even,
No,
So I'm
I have kids like that.
I'm like, if you don't even try, now I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
at least try.
Yes.
If you can enjoy it. But anyway, they talked about how, you need to figure out what that coach wants.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what is that lesson for me? What does my boss want me to do? Like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
And then do that. Because we all have our own agendas, but the buy-in needs to be with the coach's vision. 100%. Have you found that as a coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
As a parent, like,
listen.
Hey, everyone needs to buy into this.
Yes, and that's what I tell my kids is listen to your coach. Listen to understand. Understand what they're saying, and if you don't understand, ask. Ask questions, right? So that you can know and understand and learn the game. Be a student of the game. I think my daughter's tremendous. Like, she has a tremendous soccer IQ because of this, and she sought to understand and seeks to understand what he's doing, and she understands the game very well. And that part, and then let's go work on it, right? And we've taught our kids, and not that we're pros or not that we have it down, like, whatever. This is just what we do because my son's like that. He doesn't want to try anything because he's not good at it.
You love what you're good at.
You love what you're good at.
But you have to discover what you're good at.
Exactly. And so we teach just try, and then we preach work ethic, right? Like, just keep working at it. You'll get better, and do it every day. And once they do choose something, I mean, you better work at it. Like, we're not doing this if you don't work daily and get better and teach them how to get better and how to work. And then all of a sudden, they're really good and enjoy it, And we try to teach that in everything. Just practice a little bit. How do you get better? Practice, And hopefully they will and, do different things. But it's hard, man. Like, I was the same way. Like, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to sing in front of you. I'm not good.
A couple.
But I might belt the anthem.
There you go. There you go. In the press box the other day in a football game, my boss was right next to me.
Yeah.
And the anthem started playing, and I whispered to him, how much money would I have to pay you real quick to sing the whole, like, loud in here?
Yeah.
And I said, $20. He goes, no. I go, 50. No, 100. No. I was like, okay.
Really?
I couldn't get him to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting.
A couple years ago.
But that's the point. Yeah.
Yes. A couple years ago, a few friends of mine convinced me that, hey, let's go skiing. I'd never been skiing.
Yeah.
I'm not good on my feet.
Yeah.
I didn't skateboard growing up, rollerblade, roller skate, water ski, nothing.
Yeah.
Wakeboard. Wakeboard, I can like get up for like 30 seconds and I'm down.
Yeah.
I can't do anything cool. I can't go across the wake, nothing. They convinced me to go skiing. They go down once or twice with me and then they just leave me. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. But I was like, was there value in at least trying? Sure, I discovered that I didn't like it that much. If I wanted to, I'd keep going and try. But like, you have to at least try.
You have to at least try.
I agree. You have to at least try. I did the same thing with ice skating.
Really?
It was a hockey class, but I didn't even know how to skate.
Yeah.
That's one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire life, Carrie. It was so bad.
I wish we could find that. Nowadays, it would definitely be on film. It'd be on a TikTok.
Seven Peaks has
everywhere.
it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I agree. Like value in trying, like even like food. Like you know, we make our kids like a New Year's resolution is try new things. You know, like just try it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to commit to it, but you have to try it. Like and lo and behold, my son eats avocado toast. You know, like why? Well, because we made him try, and he goes, "Wow, this is really good."
Yeah.
You know, like
at least try it.
At least try it. You never know. You might find your next true love.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so let's talk about your family and sort of growing up. We talked about your mom a little bit. Obviously, your dad is a golfer. Did your mom golf too?
No.
Mom didn't golf?
No.
Dad loved golf from when he was little, and then the Summerhays family.
Yeah, so my dad's dad was a big golfer and loved golf. Got him started. They lived next to the country club and would hop the fence.
Here in Provo?
No, Salt Lake Country Club.
Gotcha.
And they would hop the fence and play, and
nice.
And he's like the pro for sure knew, but you know he's growing the game. So my dad just grew up loving it. So he was he coached. Right out of college, I think he missed a tour, and so he went and he was at some good courses down in San Francisco, you know, whatever. And then he became the Stanford golf coach, 78, 77, 78, you know, Pac-12 coach of the year, and then got a job at Wasatch Mountain Golf Course in Heber, Utah in January of 1980. And I was born in June of 1980. And so he was the pro there. And so, I mean, when you're the youngest of 8 kids, mom's like, everyone out the door, go to work with dad. And that's just what we did. And he loved it. And helped us love the game and never pushed us, never, if you love it, do it, great, you know, and if not, I don't care. But yeah, just what we did. And then I think it was 14, he decided to Champions Tour, go for it, qualify. And my dad won everything. Like, you have to understand, like, as an amateur, he won everything. Like, I think there was a year in the state of Utah, he won every amateur event. And he was always winning Utah section events. Like, he was just good. And so he ended up going to Q school and qualifying. And all of a sudden, my dad's on the Champions Tour, you know, and being very successful. I mean, top 10 Tony, top 10 my dad. My dad was the Ironman. He took top 10 every week. It was awesome. Our lives completely changed, and here we are.
Where'd you move after that? Or did you stay in the same place?
We stayed in Utah. So I was born and raised in the same house, 1980. And then they actually moved when I was like a sophomore in college, junior college, to Farmington, a little closer to the airport.
They must have loved Lagoon.
Yeah, I guess. Never went to Lagoon. I was in college, so I rarely went home.
You were past that.
Yeah, I was past Lagoon.
Because you went to Wasatch.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay,
I went to Wasatch High School, and then moved there, and then he had a great career. We caddied for him every summer. I got to caddy for him. I mean,
what was that like?
It was awesome. Talk about an education. I mean, I was 14 years old, I think 15 maybe, and he had the lead. It's going on Sunday, going on the back nine. And Lee Trevino shoots 5 under to beat him, but he's down, I think, 2 with 2 pulls to go, chips in on 17. Highlight. I mean,
I love that you remember all this.
Us high-fiving. I mean, I'm 15 years old.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's go. You know, and he turns to me, and we're just like celebrating, having that moment. Ends up parring 18, losing by 1. But, you know, that.
Which event was this?
It was at Silverado, Napa. The Transamerica, I think it was called, or something. And then, so every summer I just traveled with my dad. We caddied, we played, we practiced. And it literally, he taught us, I guess, to be a student of the game. And I remember going up to everybody just asking him, like, how do you do that? Why do you do that? You know, and just learning and growing. And it was an incredible experience to see my dad compete and how in it he actually was, and to learn. I mean, because he would teach, right? Like, he would teach us what he was doing. And it was That's the highlight, is just seeing him compete and being in it.
Most people don't get to watch their dad at work.
Yeah.
Like, be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you're actually giving him tips that may help him succeed or fail, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he ever ignore your advice?
Oh, sure. Yeah. But
like,
he would let you know if
nice
you were
try.
wrong.
He'd say, well, I think this.
Yeah. But he was a competitor, he would be mad.
Is this
at
where you get it? Because Brian Santiago
yeah.
told me you're the most competitive person he's ever met.
Yeah. Did he really?
About you.
Yeah, I am. I mean, my whole family's competitive. I mean, I have 4 brothers, 3 sisters, and my brothers were just fierce, and they never let up on you. Never.
Where does this come from? Your dad? Was your mom
Dad
competitive?
and mom. My mom loved sports. My mom kept the stats of the Yankees baseball games. She'd listen to them on the radio and take stats.
She loved the Yankees?
She loved sports. Yeah, she loved the Yankees.
Oh, wow.
And she loved all sports. She would take stats.
She can do a scorecard.
Yeah, absolutely. She
That's
can do
amazing.
a scorecard. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So she loved sports. We were always watching sports. Like, that's just what was on. That's what we enjoyed watching. We always went, I don't know if I can say this on here, but the University of Utah games. Diehard Ute fans.
You've come around. It's all good.
That's where my parents went. My grandpa was a coach there. He coached skiing. He coached football. He played, triple threat. He was a triple threat at football for the Utes. And so, I mean, we grew up going to everything and just watching everything and playing everything with each other. And I don't know where it came from, but I am fiercely competitive.
Well, it sounds like, Grandpa competed.
Yeah.
You don't compete at a high level and not want to win. Those people don't get to that level.
Yeah,
they just
hate
don't.
to lose.
You have to hate to lose,
Yeah.
right? That old quote. What do you love more, winning or hating to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you love winning or hating to lose?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're younger, give me the landscape at the time. Let's see, you said 80, you were 14. Like in 94.
Yeah.
Girls golf, women's golf, because it's grown a lot. Mm-hmm. What's it like back then? Because didn't you play on the boys' golf team in high school
too? Yeah, I had to play
too?
on the boys' golf team. And I actually didn't play until my senior year. We would have taken state because, there was the golf coach wouldn't let me play. I played soccer. So
because you were a girl or because you're playing soccer?
He just, didn't want me to play both sports. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm not going to practice?
You're
like,
obviously pretty good.
I'm pretty good. I'm probably going to practice. He regrets it now. Like, I know who he is, and he regrets it now.
Yeah.
But, I just always played golf. I just wanted to play something different. And I just tried out for the soccer team, started varsity as the goalie. And
you were a goalie?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was goalie. And so I played a bunch of different sports, and then I didn't play until my senior year. I felt like maybe I needed to play golf.
Were you playing? Oh, wait, what? Did you just tell me that you got like a scholarship without playing high school golf? Like just from what you were doing?
Yeah.
High school golf didn't matter maybe in that? Okay.
It's not big, even now. You don't really look at
Gotcha.
high school. Yeah. There's so much outside, like junior tournaments, summer
Gotcha.
tournaments. Yeah. That's how I was recruited because of that.
To some degree, that's getting into other sports. Like in soccer, it's like club, volleyball club.
Correct.
The high school's like fun in your neighborhood.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you didn't really have club back then, but golf was different, right? Like you golfed in the summer. There was Utah Junior Golf Association.
There was enough for girls for you to be
100%.
seen? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
100%.
I don't know how it's evolved or not.
Yeah. Enough to be seen. Nice. They had national tournaments, not a lot of them, but enough. So I'd qualify for those, win a lot in Utah. And that's how I got recruited. But the coach wouldn't let me play both sports. So I was like, fine, I'll choose soccer. Like, I play enough golf. And I remember, though, my freshman year, because my brother was a senior, he didn't really care. He should have pushed me. But there was another kid that was just like, come on, if you play, we'll win state. But I was like, no, bro. Kind of wish I would have now. But I love soccer. I loved playing. Like, it was good.
Did you play a year?
Soccer?
Of golf in high school?
I played my senior year.
Your
just
senior,
1 year.
on the boys team?
On the boys team.
Did they not have a girls team?
Correct. They didn't have girls golf then.
Didn't have girls golf, straight up.
Which was good for me. I mean, got some dates, got to hang out with cute boys.
There you
great.
go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a scholarship to BYU.
Yeah.
Who took second in the recruitment? Where did you almost go?
Oh, schools. Well, I was
Did
seriously.
Utah have a women's golf team?
They didn't.
Would you have gone there if they did?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. BYU is a far better university, academically. It has the environment that I wanted. I was looking at several, like UCLA was in the top 25, Oklahoma State was in the top 25, New Mexico was in the top 25. All interested.
Ooh.
Yeah, giving me big offers. And went and visited them, and I was just like, what am I what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like I just had the belief that I could be great anywhere and go pro anywhere, and then, my dad gave me some, back then you didn't sign early. Like I was at my kitchen table on signing day with my letters from all of them.
That you have to fax back in.
Yeah, seriously. and I remember just asking my dad, I was kind of I knew I should go to BYU, but I didn't want to.
Why didn't you want to?
Well,
growing up a Ute?
I grew up a Ute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything about BYU just was not appealing, was not positive. Although my brother had played golf there and told me how awesome it was. Like, Carrie, it's going to be awesome. You're worried for nothing. And I asked my dad, what should I choose? Like, where should I go? And he said, well, what do you want? And I said, what do you mean, what do I want? He goes, well,
that's the question. You brought this up in your devotion too.
Yeah. So I remember he goes, well, what do you want out of life? And they did not influence my decision at all. They didn't even really talk it through with me. Like, it was just like, go on your visits, figure it out, go choose where you want to go.
What kid are you in the line of, what'd you say, 8?
I'm 8th of 8.
You're the 8th of 8?
Yeah.
Is this because you're the youngest? And they're
Maybe.
like, listen.
Probably.
We know
We're
that
done.
you're just going to do what you want.
I mean, I changed my own diapers. I made my own lunches. It was like, by the time you're, just raise yourself. You're fine. You'll figure it out. But that's just my parents, though. Like, they just stay out of your business. Like, they really do. And I was just like, yeah, I got to go to BYU. And I knew I was going there. I really did.
How'd you know that?
It felt right. And it's what I wanted. It had the life I wanted. It had the environment I wanted.
Was there a moment when you were here that validated that? Where you were like, I made the right decision? Or was it just good the whole time?
Yeah, it felt good the whole visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt good the whole visit. I had friends coming.
Oh, the recruiting visit.
The recruiting visit. Yeah, it just felt good. It felt a lot better than the other schools, and I'm a lot on feeling, and it felt right.
And high school friends were here or something?
Yeah, had some high school friends coming, and I knew a couple of the recruits coming. Yeah.
You competed against perhaps or something?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you share that with the women you recruit now? Sort of your experience here. Obviously, going to that school helps.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. I loved it. I talk about, obviously, like, you're nervous. You're worried. You don't know what you're getting into, and BYU's unique, but you're going to love it. I mean, you're going to meet the people here are amazing. And I tell them to pay attention to how you feel, because you'll feel great, and that's just a validation that this is a pretty good place and a place where you should be.
Whether that's tied into the Holy Ghost or not, right?
Sure.
But a comfort of, I like being around here, and it's not forced, and it's not, that matters, especially in a new place. And like 4 years of your life, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Are there red shirts in golf much? You do it?
No, not much.
But you can?
Every once in a while we have a red shirt, and it's, super rare. Usually you just play your 4 and go.
What do you want? I love that question, because I've used that same one in the conversation about BYU football and scheduling specifically. Yeah. Like, what do you want out of BYU football? Yeah. Do you want a 10-plus win season? Then you probably need an easier schedule. Except this year, it's been totally different. BYU's been awesome. Yeah. It's been crazy. So, what do you want out of the thing? Then that will dictate the steps leading to that 100%. Place. I love that question.
Well, and a lot of people don't get that, don't understand that. I can't tell you how many people responded to me of, I don't know my why, I don't know my purpose. And it literally was just, well, what do you want?
That's your why. Those are the same thing to you?
They had to me, like that's how you figure it out, right? Of, well, what do you want? Who do you want to be? Like, and it was shocking the amount of people that weren't living a life they wanted to live.
Are you talking recruits now?
No, just people. Just people.
People in general.
After I gave my devotional, how many people reached out to me for help of figuring out their why, their purpose, you know what I mean, living a life they wanted to live.
Yes.
And it just by not thinking it through of, well, what do you want? Like, what kind of life do you want to live? Like that, like what kind of schedule? Like if you want a New Year's 6, well, your plan has to be a little different than if you want a 10-0 season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because then it feels like you connect to, okay, if you don't like it, then change it. Essentially, where are you going? And then line that up and do that stuff.
But the belief that you have the power to change it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you have the power to change it. Yes, it might be difficult, but you have that power and you can change it.
That's a very powerful thing.
Very powerful.
I'm thinking about like my own parents' divorce. You know what I mean? And like my mom was like, no. And my dad's a good dude. I'm not throwing him under the bus. But it was probably a good thing for both. It was probably a good thing for me, honestly. I moved to a different place. I
Interesting.
gained certain friends that changed my life.
Interesting.
Had I lived in the other place, I would have been a different person.
Interesting.
A person I didn't want to be.
Right.
But I was surrounded by great people that really helped me after that. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that needed to happen for me.
Yeah.
That
Right.
needed to happen, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you decide you're coming to BYU.
Yeah.
And then you're freaking awesome at BYU. What was the golf like for you at BYU that eventually helps you get to the pros?
Yeah. And I gotta dig back into the memories, you know what I mean? But the golf was awesome, you know what I mean? And I remember my first tournament was at Hobble Creek, actually. And I think I shot 80 my first round. And then I was like, you can do better than that. Like, what the heck?
Hey, it's
And
narrow.
Yeah.
It's trees.
And then, yeah.
It's my home course here.
Is it really? I love
Where I live now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love Hobble Creek.
It's
like, if someone
beautiful.
asks me what's one of your favorite, I say Hobble Creek. But yeah, that was my first tournament. I remember thinking, and I remember seeing where I was placed, and I'm like, I can move up to top 20. And I remember playing really well the next day, and I'm like, I think I can get top 10. You know what I mean? And I remember that thought process of just being like, and I remember the thought process of, okay, if you're not able to win this week, if you just keep it together, you're going to take top 10.
As a freshman, are you
and
thinking
top
this?
Yeah, as a freshman.
So
Yeah.
right out of the gates, you're like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a little...
I can do this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, you're not sure, you know, and then I just remember being like, I wanted to be the number one player, you know, and I remember Jamie.
On your own team?
Jamie Stevenson, was awesome. You know, I looked up to her and she was so good. But every part of me wanted to beat her every single time. And that was kind of my motivation as a freshman.
Competitor.
Yeah, as that competitor. And it drove me. And, you know, eventually I was able to do that, right? And then it was like, okay, now what? You know, like, let's be player of the year and just set bigger goals and literally just winning, though. I mean, if you asked me what were my goals, I just wanted to win every time. And that's what I tried to do. And if not, I knew if I just held it together mentally, I could be, you know, top 10, top 20.
And then you climb into that space,
Yeah.
and then you become really good. When does the LPGA Tour sort of become something in your mind that you're like, hey, that's possible? When does that start?
Yeah, honestly.
Had it already been when you were younger?
100%. It's what I've always wanted to be.
So this is just the next step.
This is just the next step. There was no other plan. There was no other backup plan. You know how everyone's like, oh, have a backup plan in case? I didn't have a backup plan. That's what I was going to do.
No parachute.
No
Just
parachute.
jumping.
That's what I was going to do. And there was no doubt in my mind that's what I was going to do. That's what I worked for. That's what I played for. That's what I prepared for. Like, that was just the next step.
When you're in class, are you thinking about golf?
Sure.
In terms of okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I'm here, I'm trying to get a degree.
Yeah.
And now you're a coach, so you have to preach
Yeah.
academics.
Yeah.
But when I was in school, honestly, I wasn't a great student because I
Yeah.
was so focused on
Yeah.
my sport,
Yeah.
broadcasting, if you will,
Yes.
that I sort of regret like not being a
Yes.
little more engaged
100%.
some of the time.
100%.
Like I was good. I tried hard. There are a
Yeah.
few classes I did not do well in
Yes.
because I was thinking about broadcasting.
Yeah, that's my story. Absolutely. I mean, I majored in golf. You know,
You majored in
like
golf.
I was here to play golf. I
School
love
got in the
golf.
way of my education.
School got in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do wish. Yeah, I'm like, man, if I could have taken this class. I guess my fallback was a degree. Mm-hmm. You know,
Sure.
I knew like if I have a degree, I can do something. I'll figure it out.
Yes.
You know, like
And that
at least
needs to be the case for all the student athletes.
100%.
Because hardly anyone goes pro.
100.
It's hard.
It's very hard, and you might go pro and make it a little bit like I did, but get your butt kicked. You know, it's very, very hard. Yeah, but no, that was always what I wanted to do. If you asked me when I was 5, I would have said I'm going to be a pro golfer.
You knew then.
Yeah, 100%.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is that 100% because of your dad and your siblings, or was there...
No, that's what I wanted to do.
You wanted to do it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. My dad wasn't even a professional. He was a club pro, you know what I mean, at a course.
But you're around it enough to be
Yeah.
influenced to the point where you're like,
yeah.
this
but
is
they
the thing that is there if I want it.
Exactly. But they also had you know, there were no limitations in my family. If that's what you wanted to be, go work for it.
What do you mean by that?
Like, meaning if you want to be a pro golfer, you can go, but work hard for it. You just have to work harder. You know, like, oh, you want to be this? Okay, great. But here's the plan to get you there. And if that's what you want, go do it. And if you're going to do it, you better do it. You know, there were no limitations on what we could be or what we wanted to do. It was just, okay, if that's what you want to do, then here's your path. And you go take it.
I love that.
Yeah.
You've talked about win the day
Yeah.
as a mantra
All the time.
for the team. Tell me
Yeah.
more about that phrase and why that matters.
Well, you know, Oregon football does it, right? And I caught on to this, and it's just a way to own the process, right? To not be so wrapped up in the outcome, but just to work really hard and get a little bit better every day and feel like you do. I mean, how much confidence comes from thinking, yeah, I got a little bit better today, right? And I know how. And so we created kind of a system of journaling and practicing to where you know you did get better and you know why you're good. And so you feel like, you know, you're winning the day. And just, I mean, you build your confidence by feeling like you got a little bit better. And that's reality, honestly, right? Like, let's be real. You're just going to get a little bit better. You're not going to take that next step tomorrow.
I got 17% better. What? How do you know you
compound interest?
Right,
I mean, right? And that's what we preach is just it compounds for sure.
How do you know you won the day? You talked about you have a system. How do you know?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to give all my secrets, but we journal, you know, and Craig Manning's helped us, right, with finding what you're good at and finding what you need to improve upon. And we just try to get as detailed as possible. It's different for each kid, but understanding what makes you good, how you execute. And if you can understand how you execute every shot, boom. And if you're reinforcing that and perfecting it and know it's getting better, you can see it's getting better because you're doing it better. You're executing it better. But then we write it down in detail.
Craig Manning
so you don't forget it.
Is perhaps the genius behind BYU
100%.
Athletics, who has moved on to the Milwaukee Bucks, by the way.
Who wants no credit, wants no name. I mean,
no one knows who he is.
Have you ever seen anybody like that?
No.
He let's give credit where credit is due, right?
Yes.
But he's not on Instagram. He's not on Facebook. I love the guy.
He was the women's tennis coach for a while.
Yep.
I did a story with him like in 2008 or something on True Blue or something.
Cool.
He eventually becomes, the sports mental health, sports psychology guy.
Yep.
And he's so good. He's talking to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks a couple months ago. They won the NBA title.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, just come here full time. And this is our first semester, I think, right?
Yeah.
Without him full time.
Yeah.
Seems like everyone's doing all right.
We're okay.
but it's a big deal, right?
We're okay.
Maybe not to have him, but hopefully we'll keep going and learn from those things. So what is it that he kind of added that has helped BYU immensely over the last decade or so?
Yeah, to understand what works and what doesn't. You know, like he's so good about you'd be surprised at how much the mental is physical, you know, and that's what he helped me understand.
Yogi Berra, that quote.
Really? Yeah.
Well, we joked like, baseball is 60% physical, 78% mental. What?
Yeah. But
what?
Yeah, exactly. What? You're blowing my mind right now. But, you know, and so he's helped be able to teach the process and to be able to identify exactly what's going on with the kid and what area that they need to focus on, right?
And it's not just the coach saying, this
Correct.
is physically what I need you to do.
Correct.
Kind of going into this mental space, which
Right.
whether you watch Ted Lasso or not, there's a
Right.
sports psychologist in that.
Correct.
She changes things.
Correct.
And there's way more value today
Yes.
in that position than was ever perceived.
We're understanding it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're understanding it. And great people always did this. They just didn't know what they were doing or what it was called. But 100% they just naturally did it because they wanted to win so bad and hated to lose that they figured out what was working, what didn't, and stopped doing that. Right? So 100% they've always done this. They didn't need their help to do it. You know, now we think we need someone to tell us, right? but that's what he's good at is just, you know, helping you identify the real issue and being able to hit it, but being able to rewire your brain in a way that helps you be productive always. Yeah.
It's really interesting, and I'm fascinated by the idea that everyone receives and expresses things differently. Mm-hmm. And that would be so challenging for a coach. I manage 12 students. They're my team, if you will, the social media team. I've got to understand how everyone receives feedback, how they take criticism, what they do well.
Yeah.
That's a real challenge.
It's hard.
Because there's a lot going on. As a coach, how do you sort of manage that part where, hey, there's the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual here.
Yeah. I get it wrong first.
That's how you figure it out.
That's how you figure it out is you fail first and you yell at a kid and they're crying. You're like, oh, okay, you're the one I can't yell at. You know what I mean? Like, okay. So I got to give them a hug. You know what I mean? But honestly, I try to just get to know my kids as much as possible, like really understand them and understand how they think and how they tick and just communicate and have a relationship of trust where we can communicate with each other of saying, Coach, I didn't like that. You know what I mean? But
How do you do that? How do you get to know them in that
well,
way?
luckily I only have 8 kids, right? Like, so I meet with them often. We'll go to lunch with them. I talk to them a lot and just get to know their life, get to know how they think through things and how they process information and how they learn and how they like to practice and what their family's like and yeah, how they think, you know, right? Like, and how they want to work and jive. And I try to get them to secretly coach themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then I can interject and then I kind of learn how they do things and things like that. But
I teach them correct principles and
Yeah.
then they govern themselves.
Yes.
Joseph Smith, right? That's
yeah,
that's
but
a good one.
as much as I can get to know them, just spend time with them,
Yeah.
just talk to them, get them to open up.
And with the team of 8
Yep.
and golf, where you're spending,
Yeah.
the event is not one day.
Yeah.
It's several days, right?
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
unique, I guess.
It's very unique. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what people don't understand about our girls. They're playing 36 holes, walking, pushing, carrying their bags on Monday, and then having to do it all over again on Tuesday. And that's the thing about our competition is you look at some of these, you know, track events where they literally just run a 100-yard sprint. You know what I mean? They're done. Where ours is you play 18 holes, you know exactly where you sit. Now you got to do it again, right? And then you got to do it one more time. There's so much more added pressure and thinking and emotions to that makes it very, very unique and challenging, but also great at the same time.
What kind of steps are we talking about?
Oh,
And they
wow.
say 18 holes
21,000.
walking?
20,000 at least.
Oh, my gosh.
Easily.
Is there fatigue on day 3
Yeah.
on the legs?
Yeah.
Like that everyone's battling, I suppose?
Yeah,
I never
100%.
thought about that part of it, like
Yeah.
the legs.
The next day I'd always wear tennis shoes because your feet hurt so bad.
You'd go from
Yeah, golf shoes
The
to
golf
tennis
shoes to
shoes the
tennis
next
shoes.
day because it was just like, gosh, my feet hurt, you know, but you got to go do it again.
back to your LPGA Tour career.
Yeah.
What was it like to compete on the tour, to have that validation of like, I'm a tour player, like I'm
Yeah.
good enough for this, and sort
Yeah.
of, whether you meant to or not, sort of carry the legacy of your family as well.
Yeah, never.
And to rep BYU and Utah and all
yeah.
this stuff, right?
Yeah, and you don't even think about that stuff. You know what I mean? You honestly don't. But it's interesting to where, you know, what happened with me is I qualify. It's just like, whoa, that was awesome. But then your mind goes to, am I good enough? You know what I mean? So I feel like my mental kind of got me on the tour and my mental kind of took me off the tour of, I don't know if I'm good enough. These guys are so good. You know what I mean? And not laying out a plan to just be like, hey, let's go work our butt off and find a way. It was, you know, kind of that aspect of wow, they're really good and I got to dedicate my life. Do I want to do that? You know, like either I go all in or have a life, you know, all in and this is everything we do but yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, validating like, wow, you made it. You set out to do something. You did it. That was pretty awesome.
And you said you and your husband, Corey?
Yeah.
He was the caddy, right?
Yeah, he
That's
caddied
pretty
for
fun.
me. Yeah, and we actually got married like a week before Q school, a couple weeks before Q school. I don't know how that happened, but kind of riding a high into Q school, went through Q school, and it was funny because people asked me like, what was better, qualifying or, you know, I was like, I declined to comment. No, but you know what I mean. It was 2 awesome, amazing moments back to back. It was awesome. Yeah, yeah. Corey was my caddy.
What's Q school like to try and qualify?
Ooh.
Qualifying.
It's intense.
Yeah.
First, you might as well get through your first time because you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? You don't know how intense it. This literally is your life the next year. Like either you have a job or you don't have a job. And there's a ton of pressure. And it was shocking to see people who stepped up and people who didn't, who would choke.
What's the process?
Because they knew that pressure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I think the top 20 got their cards when I was doing it. And so, I mean, it was 4 rounds. Well, it was stages, right? We had 3 stages. And, if you want to hear a story, I mean, my very first stage, we're playing in Florida. And I think on the first, second round, I have a person who doesn't speak English. We're going through my card, start on the back 9. And we get done, and I'm holding my card. I turn in my card, and I walk away thinking, I don't think I signed the right score. And it's literally only me that knows, right? So I could easily just walk away. But literally, I'm just like, I think we got a hole wrong. You know, and so I walk back, asked him what I got on hole 4. I knew my mom was keeping my score. So I said, Mom, what did I get on hole 14? She goes, 4. And I'm like, I just signed for a lower score. I'm disqualified. So I had to walk back to the tent, disqualify myself at Q school, my only dream, right? And knowing that I would not get another chance. And so I walked back and so cried for probably a week straight, literally probably at least 3-4 days straight. But back in the day, they had a second chance qualifier. And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because, of course, I'm extremely motivated and easily got through that on to the next stage, final stage. And then the final stage, it was just like, hey, what do I need to do? Right? So I play the first round, and I just remember being so incredibly locked in, knowing I had to just be incredibly focused. I mean, I've never been locked in like that. And I remember getting the results after a couple of days, and I wasn't in the top 20. And I was like, okay, I got to go deeper. Like, I got to do better. And the next day I did. And then the final round was something that, I mean, I couldn't tell you. The last 3 holes, I think I was shaking. Like, the last 3, just knowing, like, I knew I was close. I knew I was right there. I was playing well. And just like, I remember 17, I had to hit it like a 7-wood into the, it was a long par 4. I remember hitting this, like, just almost like not thinking and just kind of just, you know what I mean? That zone. And hitting the best shot on 17. And I remember 18 was like, your heart is beating out of your chest. Like, literally, you can literally feel your heart beat out of your chest. Piped my drive and literally barely held on, had a 12-footer, barely missed that, made par. And by my mom's reaction, I thought I had missed it. I was like, oh, I didn't play good enough. And I walked off, and I think I was like 1 out of it. But then I can't tell you, I mean, person after person came through and just choked. And here I was, like, plenty through. Like, it was eye-opening how many people choked.
Wow.
Yeah. Suzanne Pedersen, long time, Solheim Cupper, European, choked in front of me. Like, it was, and here I am. I'm like, I was clutch down the stretch, I guess. Was
that the most clutch you'd ever been, or was there another time where you were like, no, it was better?
No, that was pretty clutch.
Given the stakes?
Yeah. Nothing's like, I mean, you've heard the stories of Q school. Like, it's something else. Yeah. That was pretty clutch.
So when you get through, when do you find out, hey, you made it? And what was that
right
moment
then.
like? Right then?
Yeah.
You're just watching people?
Yeah.
And you're like,
and I'm seeing myself move up. And right then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on tour. Like, let's go.
And then how long were you on tour, and what was it like?
Couple years. We played a couple years off and on, and it was hard. It was a struggle. Yeah.
Was it different than what you thought it'd be?
100% different. Yeah. You don't realize the grind week to week, the pressure that's on yourself. I mean, if you don't make money, you don't make money. Like, if you don't make the cut, you don't make the cut. Like, it is you. And they didn't have a ton of sponsors back then. Ping sponsored me. I got Titleist a little bit, Nike a little bit, but nothing like enough to like pay expenses, right? And
Corey's like, I need to be tipped here.
Yeah, he got everything, whatever. He got 100%. Yeah, and so the pressure of it and just all that added, like, it's your job now, and like getting better, and just like, wow, I've got to beat Annika Sorenstam, like, holy cow, And so it was a very difficult, I mean, I love the experience, and I wish I could have done it a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
So once you're done on the tour,
yeah,
now what?
So, Corey decides to go to law school. He's always wanted to go to law school. And so he goes to law school. We travel with my parents and save up some money so we could pay for law school. And he goes to the University of Texas School of Law, great law school. And I have Mary. We moved. She was 2 months old. I have a kid, and we're just trying to figure out what to do, like figure out what I'm supposed to do. And so, a year or two goes by, and I'm just like, gosh, I need something, and I actually started teaching lessons. I said, well, I'll just teach lessons. So many people were asking, in Austin. So many people were asking me for lessons. And so I had like 20, 30 people doing lessons. I was like, okay.
You're pretty busy.
I'm pretty busy. This is cool. Give me something to do. But then after a time, I'm just like, I am not enjoying this. This is not what I want to do. And so I actually, to get rid of people, I raised my rates, and they kept paying. And I was like, whoa, that's all I had to do was raise rates? Like, what?
It's Austin, baby.
Yeah. And so, but it was fun getting these kids into golf and things like that. But then I'm just like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to work with players and I want to coach. And so I'd actually thought about maybe volunteering at the University of Texas women's golf program. Just volunteer, just getting my foot in, just wanting something different, wanting something more. And then phone call comes from Brian Santiago saying, hey, just wanted to let you know we let Sue go. Like, just pique your interest a little bit. And I was just like, oh, okay. Corey was, top 20% at a top 10 law school. Like, he was going to make lots of money, be a great lawyer, was thriving. And he was actually he was in Houston at the time, but looking for a job and whatever. And I called him. I said, hey, you'll never believe, like Brian called me and get this job. And he says, oh my gosh, you got to go for it. I mean, on the spot. He said, you need to go for that. And I said,
wow.
I was pregnant with my second child, by the way.
This is the greatest caddy moment he had had.
This is the greatest caddy moment he's ever had. And I said, you're crazy. I am pregnant with our second child. Like, what are we going to do? Like, you're going to do this like this. And he just like, no. He said, I can stay home. I can do this job from anywhere. I will stay home. He goes, I don't have the influence. I will never have the influence on people that you can have and that our family can have. This is what he says to me in the moment.
Wow.
I'm not thinking that, right? Like,
he's thinking big picture.
He's thinking big picture. And I'm just like, Corey, you don't know what you're doing with a newborn and a 2-year-old, like 4-year-old. Like, no, you don't understand. He goes, Carrie, you are going for this job. This is a once in a lifetime, and we want to have that impact. So I was like, okay. So we literally moved back to Utah with no job, thinking that if I don't get this job, he'll find a job.
You moved without getting the job?
We moved without getting the job.
Oh, wow.
So it was actually one of the, a point, like we kind of came to each other and said, hey, I need to talk to you about something. And he's like, good, because I need to talk about you with something. And so I went to him and said, I just think we should move back to Utah. And he goes, that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. I think we should move back to Utah. No job, no nothing. And he says,
no guarantees.
No guarantees. He said, if you get this job, we'll do this. And if not, I will search. You're right.
So again, you go with no parachute.
Yeah. Again, we go with no parachute. Mm-hmm. We just felt that it was what we were supposed to do. And so we went, and we had my daughter who had no cousins, no family. We missed family. It had been 4 years. We had missed family. So we moved back, and we move, into my parents' basement and just say, okay, let's go find jobs, right? Like, let's go see how this happens. And the coaching job took a lot of time. Like, it was a long process from start to finish. And throughout the whole process, I felt like it was what I was supposed to do, honestly. I felt like I was going to get the job. I didn't have coaching experience. I had played. I had taught. Obviously knew the game very well, but not coaching Division I. And, had my interview and a couple key things there when I met with Brian Santiago. I mean, I was pregnant. I mean, it's 2020. I was going to have to miss the first semester. I couldn't travel.
That's the most ideal job interview ever.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
pregnant. Yeah. So literally he's due in October. And so I'm not going to be able to travel the first semester of my job. And I was really nervous. I didn't know what to do. Right? Should I say something? Should I not? And so I consulted lots of people, and majority of people told me no. Do not say a thing. My mother.
About not being able to travel?
No, about being pregnant. Don't tell him you're pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Because it could affect you getting the job.
Let me get the job, and then we'll negotiate.
Then we'll tell you I'm pregnant.
I could see that angle.
It's a little nerve-wracking, right? Like, should I tell? Should I not? And obviously, deep down, I thought I should tell. I was just afraid to tell because I might not get the job. And so I remember meeting with everybody, and then meeting with Brian. I said, and at the end, I said, Brian, I kind of walked out, and I walked back. I said, Brian, one more thing. I said, I just need to let you know I'm 20 weeks pregnant, and I'm gonna have this baby in October. And I said, this is really hard for me because I don't want, to affect whatever. And he just said, he looked at me and said, this changes nothing. And I said, really? And he goes, no, nothing at all. Like, thank you for telling me. Thank you for being honest. Right. And then I expressed how worried I was to tell him. And he told me that he immediately went to Tom and said, we've got our girl, because I know she'll be honest with me and everything. And so maybe that, that's what helped me. So then I had to go meet with a 70. And so here I am, a mother of about 2, going to work full time. And that is not what we preach, right? At least at the time, that was not a thing that you did. I mean, mothers stayed home, right? They did not work. Your kids are going to be messed up, right? So super nervous. We kind of had our plan of attack. Like, okay, what is he going to say? Like, how's this going to go? Like, I guess this maybe will help us understand if we're doing the right thing.
Can I ask you who it was?
Larry Lawrence. Yeah. And so we walked in, and he said, tell me about yourselves. So we just said, like, here we are. This is our life. He doing this. He went to law school. I'm pregnant. We just feel this is what we should do. And he said, wow. He goes, that's super cool. He goes, I just quit my job so that my wife could go to work. He goes, I'm at home doing the laundry, doing all this. And my mouth dropped.
What?
I was like,
wow.
You're kidding me. He's like, no. He said, it's time for my wife to thrive. And he was older and whatever, but still, he had made that decision that his wife should now, whatever. And I was just like, if that wasn't a confirmation, we just walked out of there going, this is exactly what we are supposed to do. And then I got the job offer, late, kind of sent me back a little bit. And that's how I got the job offer. But anyways, that was the long answer to what was next.
So when you get the job at BYU,
yeah,
certain amount of confidence gained from that, like you talked about.
Absolutely.
Like, again, it feels like in your life you've picked your why, and you've worked super hard, and you failed, and then succeeded, and tried. Here we are again. But now you have to actually coach the team.
Yeah.
And you said, I hadn't coached before.
Yeah.
So what was those first couple years like as you figure out how to establish what every coach wants, certain culture, a certain mindset, how did you establish that? Because you've now have one of the premier golf programs in the country. That doesn't come easily.
No,
what did it take?
A lot of work, yeah. A lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, and a lot of homework. I listened to the one you did with Jen Rockwood, and same thing. I read book after book after book. I was constantly on the internet researching cultures, and I was unique to where my high school basketball coach always called me a coach on the floor. I was a coach on the floor. I was just always coaching and whatever. And
state champ, player of the year, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, MVP sophomore year. We were undefeated. There's another story.
You were the MVP or sophomore year?
I was MVP.
My gosh.
Talk about clutch performances. You're like, was that the number one clutch performance? State championship, I was unconscious. Like, averaged like 25 points. There was a game where I don't think the ball hit the rim. Like,
oh my gosh.
It was literally just...
It was either air ball or... No, I'm just kidding.
Air ball or swish. Literally unconscious.
Wait, did you have a chance to be a college basketball player?
Yeah, I could have. I wasn't heavily recruited because I was golf, right? Like, I'd made the choice to play golf. But I did talk to Trent. Is that his name? Whoever was the coach here. I talked to him about possibly playing both. And he was game for it. He's like, send me some video, like, let's talk about it, like, whatever. And then I kind of made the choice, like, this is crazy. I can't do
It'd be
both.
too hard.
This is too hard. But I talked to Judkins later about it, and he goes, dude, I totally would have let you. Like, no questions asked. So that would have been cool, and
you would have been on the Sweet 16 team.
I would have been on the Sweet 16.
Maybe an Elite 8 team with you.
Yeah. Right? No. I would have been a great bench player. But it wasn't possible with golf. Like volleyball and basketball, they can go. But it just wasn't possible. And I knew I could have a career in golf, not basketball. Right? Like, it just, WNBA, I don't even think, it was very new.
Yeah,
I think
like
in high school, 5
or 7 years old.
Yeah. And so it
like
wasn't
mid-90s.
it wasn't a thing, right? And so I knew golf was always going to be a thing. So yeah, state championship, but yeah, that state, for some reason, I remember, so we were at UVU, and before one of the games, we're back.
UVSC, come on.
Yeah, UVSC, and we're back waiting for the game to get off, and there were some hoops lowered. And I remember looking at the rim, and literally my conscious thought was, wow, that hoop is huge. I didn't realize the hoop was that big. This was my thought before the game. Subconscious thought. I was like, wow, that's the game I didn't miss. Like, literally, it was...
Do you remember your stat line?
No, but I had 20-something, like high 20s. Yeah.
9 for 9 or something.
Exactly.
Crazy,
Yeah, I have video. You can watch it.
Oh,
like, it doesn't even...
I want to see it.
It's just... Yeah.
I don't have a DVD player anymore. Though, so
I know. VHS. It's not even DVD.
That's right.
It is not.
This is mid to late 90s at this point?
96.
Yeah, 96. Okay.
Yeah. And, well, crazy enough, I actually fouled out early fourth quarter. I had 18 points, I think. And it was... I don't know. But I didn't foul her. 100%. It was not a foul. And he called me a foul. I don't know why I was in the game, though. And pulled me out. And I was like, oh. But my best friend, who was the other point guard, stepped up, was point guard. And she just controlled the game from there. We had a big enough lead, too. And she rocked it, man. We were state champs. Didn't lose a game.
You fouled out in the state tournament.
I fouled out. And I didn't foul out in any game, ever.
Oh.
But I was...
Shoot.
I was going to take over that game and win that game. Like... and I had for 3 quarters.
Okay, I interrupted you. You were talking about sort of establishing the culture in the first couple years.
Let's go back
as a
to the
coach.
culture.
Yes.
So I knew what a good culture needed to be, I felt like. I knew.
Based on what?
Just myself and growing up and being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And being a part of different teams and seeing how it works. And my mother, right? Like teaching me that positivity works and belief. And I knew I could make them better golfers, and I knew I could get them to believe in themselves. And that was the core of my culture, right? Belief, make them better, but also have a united team. I wanted a very united team. And it was a very difficult road. It took me 6 years to get my own players because I had a redshirt player. And it was a very, very difficult road. It was a very, it was difficult. Let's put it that way. We had some honor code violations. We had people that didn't want to buy in. You know what I mean? It was a very different system than with the other coach, but I believed in it. And I was probably a little too much controlling, maybe, at first. And so I learned and adjusted. But they knew I cared, and they knew I cared about them and wanted to make things right with them. And so that was established very early on, right? Like coach cares, right? And made plenty of mistakes and still make mistakes, still try to do better. But from the beginning knew that culture of make them better, help them believe, be united, right? And that's our cultures is work ethic, mental toughness, team unity, and we've stuck to that from the beginning.
What do you love about being a coach, and then what's hard?
The relationships with the girls, I love it. I love creating, and I love helping them get better. I love seeing their improvement, helping them where they didn't know, teaching them something, watching them go work their butt off at it and perfect it and then get better, and just doing things that they thought they couldn't do, but I knew they could, and know they can just keep going. I love to see them go from just okay to just amazing. And I love those relationships, the relationships that you form. I just had a former player in town for the weekend, and she's been down 4 or 5 years, and just it just those relationships, what you go through and what you help them, and it's awesome. The most difficult is when it doesn't work, and it's difficult to recruit, and it's difficult. It's tough because you're not always going to help everybody. Like that's just reality. You just can't help everybody. You're not going to click, and so it's hard. And it's hard when it doesn't maybe click as fast for some people as others. And so it's hard, and it's hard to see that, and it's hard just the day-to-day grind. And it's a good pressure, it's a good stress, but there's a lot of stress and pressure in coaching.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about BYU is how good the athletes are, how good the coaches are.
Yeah.
Specifically the women's side. I think every single coach is awesome.
Yeah.
And I dare say this is the best of women's programs at BYU have ever been collectively as a group.
Sure.
I mean, it's insane. Everybody's ranked in the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
It's just stupid good, which is so fun.
And credit to Tom Homo. He somehow he is an amazing leader and mentor. Yeah, I never want him to leave. I'm always learning, growing, how he makes decisions and how he somehow, hires great hires.
He was in a meeting here a couple of years ago. I've never talked about this publicly, where we basically said, and I say we in sports, we were like, what? We're gonna broadcast all the games of the teams we do. But what this means is sometimes it's going to be on the app only. This was totally new. Instead of on TV, it was like, well, what? And everyone in that room, almost everybody, was upset.
Yeah, interesting.
Even some of us in sports were like, excuse me?
Yeah, interesting.
Tom Homo says, no, this is how it is. This is where it's going. We got to do it. Let's go. And it was like, oh, it just has the vision. And like, he just has the right attitude about it. And like, all right, if this is what we have to do, we have to do.
Yes.
And the culminating moment of that is, all right, doing what it took to get BYU in the Big 12.
Yes.
2016, that felt like a slap in the face.
Yes.
Why? What? We were just shown around and then kicked to the curb? Like, was this just to negotiate a new TV deal? Like, that's what it felt like. Nope. BYU had auditioned once. It barely had to audition again.
Right.
And got in as the first team.
Right.
It was just crazy. What's Big 12 women's golf like?
Wow.
Oklahoma State now. What's
Woo!
up?
Woo! They were in the national finals. Baylor 6th, Oklahoma State I think maybe 2nd, but we've beaten everybody else, so which is a positive. And we've got we're 23rd, but we got to get better, right? If we want to win the Big 12, I mean, we're gonna have to play some good golf. I think we can. And the only difference is it's deeper, right? Like Pepperdine's always top 20. Like
legit men and women's golf.
Yeah.
So good.
Like Pepperdine's always really good. And so we found a way to beat them. And it's not just that we have to beat one Pepperdine now. We got to beat 10 Pepperdines now. You know what I mean? So more people can play well that week. And so, we're going to get ready. Let's go. Let's find a way.
Tell me about the evolution of Polynesian girls golf.
It's
because
awesome.
in Utah, it's growing so much, and you have several
Huge.
players who are
3 of
Polynesian.
them.
And like 10, 20 years ago, this would not have happened. Obviously, like Tony Finau is a big player and sort of this like, hey, it's not just white men, which traditionally that's what golf was forever.
Exactly.
It's more than that, and it's fun to see your team be representative of how golf is growing.
Yes, and Finau's been a huge a part of that. I had Annika 4 years ago. She was Polynesian, play for me, and then these little girls, and they're these, and I love the culture. Love the culture, love the people. They're so chill, but they work hard, appreciate life. They're very grateful. And he's just, I mean, it's going to boom. It's going to go crazy. Yeah.
And he's hung out with your team.
All the time. Yeah. No, I shouldn't say all the time, but he's always when he's at Fox Hollow. We see him a lot at Fox Hollow, and
which is like you guys have a facility out there.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's where our short game facility is, an indoor facility at Fox Hollow.
Yeah.
And he uses it like when he's in town. That's where he practices.
That's awesome.
And he's so nice. Like he is normal Joe.
Which is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, he's
very down to earth, very kind.
Yes, we on BYU Sports Station we updated his scores.
Yeah,
we just love Tony. We say adopted Coug.
Yeah, there you go.
I know he plays it on both sides of the fence of the Utes and
he
Cougars,
definitely
but
does.
he's too nice not to like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been to the NCAA championships a couple times, and you guys are so good. They had to change the rules for you a couple years in Sunday play. Walk us through that story, because that
was wild.
BYU upsetting the apple cart, and you got in.
That was wild, honestly, wild. I didn't expect how wild it would be. I mean, and if you think about it, at that time, there weren't any sports going on, so we literally were the talk. Like, you should talk to Duff Tittle. He says, like, we were the team being talked about. We were the most talked about team. Yeah.
On BYU Sports Nation, we're eating it up. Let's go.
We had disrupted the world, and it was interesting. Like when people would talk to me, they wanted to get me to say something, right? That was gonna, cause an issue, and I just wouldn't do it because one, I didn't care. I wanted to play. We wanted to try to win a championship. Like that's why we were going. And I remember a guy from the Golf Channel. That's not how you really feel, is it, Coach? And I said, yeah, it is. And then I asked him, well, why don't you tell me how I'm supposed to feel? Like, what do you think I'm feeling? Like, I literally just want a chance. My team has earned this right to play. We just want to play, no, we weren't going to pick it. We weren't, that's not what we were doing. We just wanted to play in the championship. We weren't the ones that changed it. You changed it, and so it was interesting how, and I had coaches reach out like, hey, are you going to play? And I was like, why wouldn't we play? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're going to play. And we had several teams that weren't for it, but we had several that were.
Will you remind people of the situation?
So 2016, we went, so you have to be one of the top 50 teams to make it to regionals. Top 6 from each regional make it. And Leah Garner, my assistant coach, who, we were down with 9 holes to play. I think we were down 6, 7, 8. And I literally remember in my head saying, because Leah was the one that championed this team, like, Coach, we're going to nationals. I said, okay, you take us there, kind of at the beginning of the year. So I remember with 9 holes left in my head, I said, okay, Leah Garner, if you want to go to nationals, you better take us there. This better. And I didn't tell her that, but in my head. And she literally, I think she took 3rd in the tournament. So she was our final player coming through. And we literally on, it was 18, 17, 16, 15, short par 4. Brutal of a hole. Girl goes through doubles. Our next girl triples. And I'm like, we're done. We've just shot ourselves in the foot. And I look on the scoreboard and we're down 2. And I'm like, how is this happening? So Houston is before us, choking their guts out. They went 8 over or something on the last hole. So I was like, oh my gosh, we got a chance. It's like Q school, really. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So, we're 2 down. My 5th player goes and it counts for the day and birdie's 18. So, and then all of a sudden we go 4 under or something in the last 3 holes. So it comes down to Leah Garner. We're in it by 1. She 3-putts from 7 feet for birdie. So she makes a bogey on 17. And you are like, are you kidding? You 2-putt and we're in. Like, what are you doing? And my assistant coach was with her. And then on 18, I was on 18 helping everybody come through. She pipes it in the fairway. And I went up to my assistant coach. I should have trusted her, but I was like, get out of here. I've got this. So she wanted to hit the 7. I tell her to hit 6. I said, you got to hit 6. And she pipes it. She's got 10 feet, probably best 6-iron she's ever hit. And I get criticized for this, but it worked. And I said, don't look at the scoreboard. Just putt it. Just don't look at the scoreboard. Just putt, because we're tied. This is to send us to nationals or a playoff.
But you're not telling her.
But I'm not
we're
telling her.
tied.
I'm not telling her we're tied.
In an attempt to release the pressure?
I don't know. Just play. Like, it's a 10-footer. Just read the putt and putt the 10-footer. And so it actually made her a little bit more nervous, she said, And I'm like, you're going to be nervous either way.
Yes.
You're going to shake either way.
Sure.
So me and my assistant coach were reading this putt every which way. From behind the ball, it looks like it's going to go right. From the other way, it looks like it's going to go left. Literally. We see both sides, and all of us see it. And I said, I think you should play it straight. I think you should play it straight. And I said, but go with what you think. So she lines up over it. And I guess my assistant coach said she smiled, like right before she putted it. And she asked her, she said, why'd you smile? She goes, because I knew I was going to make it. Ooh. And drains it, and we go crazy. Like, even the Oregon coach was playing with it. She goes, that was probably the most spectacular moment of my career, seeing that putt go in and you guys make it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that exciting. So anyway, we qualify for nationals. It's on a Sunday. So the third round or whatever is on a Sunday, and we can't play on Sunday.
Right.
So the provision that they make for us is after our practice round, we play our Sunday round, and everybody has to play by themselves. So we tee off singles, and you play by yourself, and you have like a marker there, but it's just you. So we play our practice round. It takes 6 hours to play the practice round. 6 hours. And I'm just going, oh my gosh, okay, let's go. You know what I mean? And everybody is watching. There's 100 people at the first tee.
Oh my gosh.
Wondering how this is going to go.
And you're this big story.
We are the huge story.
You're a national
because it's the
story.
first time it's ever happened, right?
Which the NCAA agreed a long time ago. Okay, we will allow BYU to not play on Sunday and this whole thing, which we really appreciate.
100%.
And legally, they have to uphold. There's a religious observance there, right?
Yeah.
So now, Carrie, this is one of the rare instances where it actually comes into play.
Yeah.
Right?
Very rare.
All on your shoulders.
And we're the guinea pigs. See how it goes. So we tee off, and one of my players shoots 2 under. Another player shot like even, but I had our conference player of the year kind of struggled that week. And so I can't remember how we did. It wasn't great. And so we kind of got done. We didn't know what to expect. There was a little bit more pressure on us than we anticipated. Like, everyone's watching us. We didn't anticipate that.
A free throw with no one at the line.
Yeah.
Hard.
It was just like, it's you, and everyone's watching you. And so it was a little bit more than we expected. We didn't know what to expect. We'd never been there, done that. We didn't think people would care. Like, why do you care? But they did. And so we played, and then literally on Sunday, we went for a drive. We drove around, and we watched as we knew the team wasn't going to qualify for the next step, but individually. I mean, I had a girl shoot 2 under. So she is just climbing the board, not even playing, because she had shot 2 under, and she advanced. She actually was one of the individuals that advanced and got to play. But it was a super unique experience. And I think, as you've seen, it's been a tough round for BYU men's and women's to adapt to and try to get them ready for. I've had individuals do it very well, but as a team, we haven't handled it as well. And if we would have shot our average score for the year, we would have made match play, just to give you a frame of reference of it's difficult.
You wanted more.
Yeah.
And certainly that's the goal. How's the team this year?
Good, really good. Yeah, they're ballers.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah, they're really good players, and just got to keep the ball rolling. And we have very good players at home that weren't eligible, now are eligible, and it's we're very deep.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a very good year.
Fall season's done. Summer season will be here before we know it.
Yep.
Which is super exciting. What does the Smarty Streets deal mean to you?
It's
and
incredible.
the women's athletes at BYU?
It's incredible that they're acknowledged, right? That they're athletes, but the athletes who are committed and work hard as well, right? And that the women athletes, I mean, we've talked about how phenomenal they are here, and but for them to get that recognition and to be recognized is huge. Yeah, to be like, yeah, you work hard too. It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And they definitely deserve it. And
100% they
you
deserve
wore
it.
the shoes.
I wore the shoes.
Into the studio today.
Yes.
They're so good. Some Jordan 1s. They're so
Jordan
good.
1s,
like the royal and white, right?
White.
Oh,
Championship blue, not royal.
championship
I
blue.
should have.
Tell me the difference.
Royal. I mean, we win championships. So every last round we were royal. And so when me and Brian Santiago came up with that at conference championship, we had 11-shot lead. And it was just like we all went and painted our toes royal, championship blue.
Brian included?
Brian included, painted his toes blue.
That's great.
Championship blue. And that's where we came up with it, like championship blue.
So royal is championship blue?
Royal is championship blue. Nike now has claimed that Navy is championship blue. Did you see they're coming out with some dunk high, Navy dunk highs that are championship blue? And I'm like, why didn't I, go whatever that is, trademark it or whatever. But Royal is championship blue.
I like that. That's
we
good
win
to know.
championships in Royal.
Okay, I'm going to do
Think about
that.
the football team. They play good in Royal.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Navy, not so much.
Oh, you're not a Navy fan?
I'm growing to Navy. We actually wear an all Navy outfit, white shoes, navy, white hat, and it's slick Rick.
Ooh, you like the football team.
We
and
look
Billy
good.
Nixon. Every week you're going, what hat,
Yes.
what shirt,
Yes.
what,
We
what
look good.
skirt,
Yeah,
what
look good,
shoes.
play good. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just
So it's
like,
growing on me. Navy's growing on me.
I need the women's golf social handles to be posting. Hey, we're wearing this at this tournament.
Well, you know what?
And you're day
that's
by
a good
day,
idea.
right?
Yeah,
do you
day
bring,
by day.
Do you bring 4 different
No,
or 3
because
different?
we play 36 usually.
Oh,
so we
okay.
wear the same outfit for 2 rounds. So we'll have a practice round outfit, day 1 outfit, day 2 outfit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 outfits.
Yeah.
Including championship.
Unless it's the 3 rounds and then we'll have 4.
Yes.
But we will definitely do that.
Okay.
That is
I like that.
That's brilliant.
Because football, it's a big deal every week.
Yeah.
Ooh, what are they wearing? What are they wearing?
Right.
We're wearing this.
That's actually a very good idea. I
It's
think people
crazy
will like that.
how much, fashion is
Matters.
a deal, right?
Yeah.
In recruiting, is that a deal? In
Yeah,
golf?
Nike.
This is what, hey, we got Nike, what's up?
Yeah, Nike swag, Nike clothes.
I don't know much about this. Like, do other schools have like a ping deal for their golf team? Or is it the whole program is like Under Armour, obviously, or whatever, and then they have that?
It's different. Yeah, different.
So it's more the non-golf brands that
Correct.
cover golf on
Correct.
that? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and Ping does a few schools. Like they'll give us bags, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you have all kinds of apparel that's different.
yeah, because golf is just so different, and Nike's kind of getting out of it. But we do Nike apparel, Nike golf shoes.
But you have other non-Nike stuff?
Correct. So we'll have Ping golf bags.
Gotcha. Is the golf ball Nike?
No, they don't make them anymore.
They don't
I
make
think.
them? Okay.
Titleist.
Titleist. Oh,
Yeah.
so you Ping and Titleist and Nike?
Yeah.
You're the only team on campus probably with something like
Yes,
that, maybe,
correct.
right? Because I could see where volleyball's like, we're Asics shoe. Nope, they're Nike
No,
shoe,
they're
right?
Nike.
Okay, that's
We're
interesting.
probably one of the because that's why we're not on the Nike sign on the SAB. Have you noticed?
You're not on the Nike
No golfer. Because we also wear other things.
You're not full
But we
Nike.
are mostly Nike. We're more Nike
Yeah.
than the men's team because I think they get bigger deals from FootJoy and Ping. Like Bruce has a couple of those contracts.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But we wear all Nike for
Golf's different that way.
sure. Yeah.
How's your golf game still?
It's okay. I wish it was better. You would probably think it was good, but to my standard, it's not awesome. I wish I could play more but that's my competitive fire. I don't like being not good.
Yep. Nope. I know.
But
you're
it's
competitive.
fun to compete. Like me and my assistant coach went out last week and we're taking on best balls and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's super fun.
Here's how I knew you were competitive when. So we saw each other at RC Willie.
Oh,
you
yeah.
and Corey and
Yeah.
my wife and kids were there. We're both shopping for couches, whatever. You come into BYU Sports Nation like months later or whatever, and as you're walking out, you say, "Hey, I bet my couch is softer than yours. I promise. If you sat on my couch, it would be softer than yours." I was like, "Whoa, that's competitive."
Everything's a competition.
was-
That's what my girls will tell you. Everything's a competition. Off the line's a competition. Eating's a competition. Like, I don't know, it's just fun to me. It's fun to compete. Like, who can eat dinner fastest? Like, I don't know why that's fun to me, but everything. And I always joke with my kids, like, don't you think I'm the best quarterback in the family? Like, I think I'm the best quarterback in the family. What? You're not the best quarterback in the family. It's
That's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, everything's a competition. It's just fun.
Well, best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
We certainly love watching your team, and
Thanks.
they are an amazing group. And you guys have won a bunch of conference championships, and it's awesome to watch.
Should have sat here and talked about them. They're awesome.
That'll be the
Good
next
people.
one. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's super cool.
Okay, that'll do it for us. Listen to previous episodes on the BYU Radio app or where podcasts are found. Just search Deep Blue. For Carrie Roberts and producer Tanner Graff, Trent Reimschussel, I'm Jarom Jordan. You've just listened to Deep Blue on BYU Radio.